All right, well, good evening, everyone. I would like to begin the Intergovernmental Committee on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 at 6:52 p.m. Present are Councilwoman Carr, Councilwoman Gilchrist, Councilman Limpert, Councilman Madden, Councilman Murray, Councilman Scarl, the Finance Director, the HR Director, and the Recreation Director, and guests. The purpose of this evening's meeting is to interview the mayor's appointment to the Landmarks Commission, Marcus McQueen. Hi, Marcus, and thank you for volunteering your time to serve on the commission. We're all impressed by what you've done at such an early stage of your career and your young life, really, and it's clear that you love history. Would you just like to take a few minutes to tell us about yourself, please?
So, I'm in my senior year of high school. I'm planning to go to Baldwin Wallace for public history. And I've been involved at Frostville Museum for the past 2 years. And right now, I am the quote-unquote schoolmaster of our one-room schoolhouse. And I've been at City Hall since June as an intern in the mayor's office, and now I'm working with my sites program at the North Olmsted High School in the Planning and Economic Development Department.
Well, thank you for that. Are there any questions from committee? Oh, yes.
I just want to thank you for offering your time and helping out the city, and you have a lot to give, and we're so grateful. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry.
I just want to say thank you too for volunteering your time. I know I had mentioned that, my wife, Mrs. Murray from the school, and she says that you're a really good kid and that you always put in, give 110% in everything you do. So thank you very much.
Okay.
Same here, Marcus. I got to meet you here a couple months ago. It's been a pleasure, and I think you're going to do great things. Good luck at BW.
And any questions from council? Okay, seeing no other questions, I think we all agree Marcus would be a great asset to the Landmarks Commission and move to favorably recommend the appointment of Marcus McQueen to the Landmarks Commission to fill the unexpired term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2022, and ask for a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes 3-0. And thank you very much. You're welcome to stay, but you can also leave if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Congratulations.
Bye, Marcus. So next on the agenda is the mayor's reappointment of Nahid Karsapor to fill the unexpired term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2029. Are there any comments that anyone would like to make or concerns with this reappointment? Okay, seeing there are no concerns with regard to this reappointment of Nahid Karsapor to the Arts Commission to fill the unexpired term of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2029, and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion passes 3-0, and the committee meeting concludes at 6:55 p.m. And I'd like to note that the economic director is present as well as the safety director. Oh, service. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
We'll start with us.
Sorry. Thank you.
So like, yeah, that's
Right.
my favorite.
We're gonna start here. All right, I'd like to start the Safety Committee on February 10th, 2026. Present are committee members Limpert and Madden, council members Scarl, Coyne, Mari, Gilchrist, Council President Broussard, the mayor, the law director, safety director, service director, recreation director, HR director, finance, there's the finance director, science, okay. All right, finance director, and economic development director and guests. On the agenda is 2026-8 and 2026-9, which are the resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a one-year contract with TAC Computer Incorporated to provide maintenance repair service to computer hardware and software, North Olmsted Police Department, and similar ordinance to support the fire department. Director Schofield, do you have this one?
Yes, Mr. Chair, to members of the committee and council. These come before you every year. Resolution 2026-8 is the TAC agreement for police. This is our standard one-year renewal for just over $38,500 this year. TAC typically does not issue multi-year agreements. He likes to go year by year, so that's why you see this every year. But I have asked the chiefs and Lieutenant Furiedo to make sure we get his paperwork in Q4 this year, so we have this done by the end of the year, because they tend to expire on, not that the services would ever be interrupted, but they technically expire always at the end of December. So we'll try to get that expedited for police. And then 2026-9 is the same agreement for fire at just over $16,500.
And, thank you, Director. And then I think one question that's probably on people's minds, just the other members that are involved in the dispatching services, they're all on TAC as well?
Everybody is on TAC except for Bay Village Police. They use Sundance as their CAD system, but it is a spin-off of TAC, so there's a lot of similar features to it, but everybody else uses TAC.
Okay. And so we're not gonna have any like compatibility or any kind of upgrade or service issues or anything like that?
Well, to be honest, it would have been better if Bay Village Police had switched to TAC. They used to be on TAC a few years ago. That way we'd all be on the same system, but we've figured out a patch so that Sundance and TAC talk to each other for Bay Village Police.
Excellent, great news. Any questions from committee? Mr. Madden?
Director, this might be getting ahead of things, but is there any thought that as we proceed with regionalization and consolidation, I've always perceived that the best thing about it could be on the purchasing side, where we can maybe negotiate a better price overall
Right.
by consolidating. I don't know if that has to wait for the COG to form.
I pretty much does. I think it's the better way to go, and if we're looking, once that COG is formed, and the group can vote on decisions and on types of services or equipment or software that they're using, it will enable us to get better pricing for certain things. I feel fairly confident in that, but thankfully, the tax services for our computer-aided dispatch are pretty cost-effective. But I do see a benefit of the COG being better purchasing for equipment and technology down the road.
And I didn't look to see how this price compares to last year's contract.
Fires has moved very little. Police has gone up just a little bit because we've added more work on police, and it's housed in the police station. So theirs is always a little bit more expensive than fires.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Madden. And I think, I mentioned the safety director, and obviously they're way on top of this, but anytime we can find ways as the cog evolves to get like purchasing power, then I'm excited on how they could leverage that. And obviously, the challenges may come in on how to, when people opt out, like have that consideration of what that looks like if somebody wants to opt out for equipment, like if they with some, not a vendor. Any questions from council? All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to favorably recommend 2026-8 and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passed 2-0, and then at this time, I'd like to make a motion to favorably recommend 2026-9 and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passed 2-0, and I'll conclude the safety committee at 7:12 p.m.
I would like to open the Recreation, Public Parks, and Buildings Committee meeting at 7:15 on February 10th, 2026. Present are committee members Scarl and Gilchrist, council members Broussard, Wintert, Carr, Murray, and Madden, the mayor, the service director, safety director, the recreation director, the economic director, HR director, the law director, the finance director, and guests. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss resolution 2026-1, Springvale entrance renovation, and resolution 2026-11, Little Clay Park playground equipment. Let's start with resolution 2026-1, a resolution authorizing the Director of Recreation and Public Engagement to advertise for bids for the award of a contract to provide construction services for the Springvale Ballroom entrance renovation project as detailed in the specifications on file, and authorizing the mayor, following approval of the Board of Control, to enter into a contract for the same with the lowest and best bidder. Mayor Jones, would you like to speak? Or
Director Pinchuk is going to.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Madam Chair. As we've talked about this in the past, this is to renovate the Springvale Ballroom entrance, the ballroom and the facilities over there. This was part of the master plan from many years ago, and this is one of the last stages and phases that we have to do. As I mentioned, again, in the past, like the parking lot was redone, the bridal suites and bathrooms, new windows and siding, new turnaround, ADA ramp was put on the front of the building, security cameras, we're working on the Wi-Fi and those types of things. So this is not only for aesthetics, but also for safety, as well as competition that we have with over 30 different other venues that surround us within a 15-mile radius. So on average, we have, this year alone, in 2026, we have 15 weddings scheduled. On average, they're about $21,000 a piece. about $315,000 that we should be taking in. There's 5 to 7 more wedding venues that are looking at Springville right now and deciding if they want to come to our facility or not. And so if they did come here, you're looking at another $105,000 to $147,000 on average. Some of our smaller events that we have, we bring in about between $2,000 and $10,000 for events, from showers and parties and what have you. So again, it's something that has been in the plans for a very long time. The architect's estimate is $107,000 to do it, and this would replace the canopies that we have, the long train canopies. It would reimagine the front entrance with columns, a new set of doors, new windows, make it more safe for people dropping off, so they don't have to worry about those things. And coincidentally, after we talked about this the last committee meeting, our coordinator for Springville, Aaron Warner, got an email from somebody that was thinking about renting Springville and was only going to do it if we clean the canopy like power washed it. But if we power wash the canopy, it will shred because it's that old. So we can't clean the canopy unless we want to replace the canopy. So I don't want to spend money that we're going to just rip down the canopy anyway. So that's, those are the reasons why that we're very confident that this would be a great asset to the community. We're keeping people here, hopefully, that want to use our banquet facilities.
Thank you, Director Pinchot. I think that will help make it more aesthetically pleasing to people who would want to use it. And again, the safety issue is really important as well. You'll be able to see what's going on. So are there any questions from council, committee?
I think it's well needed, so, thank you.
Any questions from council? Okay, that's great. Seeing no further questions, I would like to recommend 2026-1 to council and ask for a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes by a vote of 2-0. Moving on to resolution 2026-11, a resolution authorizing the mayor to purchase playground equipment from the Snyder Recreation Incorporation for use at Clay Park through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchase Program at a cost of $118,370. Mayor Jones, would you like to speak to that?
Madam Chairwoman, Director Pinchuk will
Director
address council.
Pinchuk?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Madam Chair. As the resolution states, this is for $118,370 of new playground equipment, of which $94,696 was a grant received through ODNR, the Nature Work Program. So our match for the city is $23,674. A little bit of history, if you recall, when we were putting together the park master plan, or the park plan for North Olmsted Park, we had $150,000 that was scheduled for playground equipment at Little Clay Park that was taken out and put back to North Olmsted Park so we could put the pickleball, tennis courts, and the splash pad.
Yeah.
So we were hoping that we'd receive a grant for the Clay Park playground, which we did. So this will replace all the playground equipment that we have at Clay Grove Park. It'll also provide some sensory pieces of playground as well as inclusive pieces that we currently don't have over there. So, and this is Snyder Recreation that is on our Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program. So it takes the bid process out of the equation because they've already done that for us through this program.
Awesome. That'll be a great addition to our parks, especially anything that will be all inclusive for all children to be able to play with. Any questions from committee? Yes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director, with the new equipment going in, do they have to change the foundation, like, is what's going, where it's gonna stand on, is that getting
So they're
new also?
So, Councilman, they are pulling out the footers from the old equipment. They're going to place this equipment in slightly different areas, and they will have to pour new footers. And it'll be a complete new mulch bed underneath it for ADA accessibility, so,
Good. Thank you.
and for safety.
Any other questions? Yes.
I just want to say, I think this is a great addition to Little Clegg, having been that's the primary park that our neighborhood uses over off of Clegg. So I think that's wonderful. What time frame? When do you anticipate the construction being done?
So we're looking at placing the order in April, once the permanent budget is passed, and then probably installing like late spring, May, beginning.
Great, thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay. Seeing no further questions, I would like to recommend, resolution 2026-11 to council and ask for a second. Seconded by, Councilman Scarl. All in favor say yes. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes by a vote of 2-0. And that concludes the Street and Transportation Committee meeting at 7:22 p.m. Will come to order at 7:25 p.m. on February 10th, 2026. Present are council committee members Gilchrist and Carr. And council members Broussard, Limpert, Scarl, Mari, and Madden, the mayor, the service director, the safety director, the recreation director, the economic director, the HR director, the law director, the finance director, and guests. The purpose of today's meeting is to discuss Resolution 2026-10, Concrete and Materials Bid. Let's start with 2026-10, a resolution authorizing the Director of Public Service to advertise for bids for the award of a contract to purchase concrete materials and related supplies for the year 2026, as detailed in the specifications on file, and authorizing the mayor following approval of the Board of Control to contract with the same and the lowest and best bidder. Director Carney, this sounds like it's maintenance yearly.
Yes, thank you very
things.
much.
Would you like to talk
We have to
about
put this out every year.
Mhm.
It goes out, last year we only had 3 bidders. Westview won the contract, and a lot of people probably be surprised what the yard of concrete costs now. $161 for high test stuff, and then $140 for the M stuff. We used 240 yards of the $160 one, and 61 yards of the $450 one. And it's something we do every year, and it's very exciting.
It is, Madam Chairwoman, for our residents who are driving.
I think it's very exciting on smooth concrete. She's positive.
Thank you.
Do you anticipate we'll use about the same amount this year?
If not more. I mean, depending on what goes on, we get more done if there's less, if we're not as busy. Like, we spent a lot of time on Barker Bridge last year, so it took us away from a lot of maintenance work, so we probably use more this year.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are there any questions from committee? Any questions from council? Yes?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman?
Director Carney, is that just on demand when we need it, we
We
get it from
call
them?
it, we call like the day before and see
Okay.
how the humidity and the weather.
Okay.
So we just.
And we pay for what we use,
Right.
like real time?
Yep.
Okay.
See those.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Seeing no further questions, I would like to recommend resolution 2026-10 to council and ask for a second.
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Carr. All in favor say aye. Motion passes by a vote of 2-0. And that concludes the Streets and Transportation Committee meeting at 7:28 PM.
Development Committee meeting on Tuesday, February 10th at 7:30 PM. Present are committee members Mari, Madden, and Limpert, Council President Broussard, Council members Carr, Gilchrist, and Scarl, the Mayor, Directors of Finance, Law, Economic Development, Public Safety, Service, HR, Recreation, and guests. On today's agenda, we will be discussing PDC Plan 317-2025, which is sheets, and also the removal of the right turn lane at the intersection of Stearns and Lorraine. So Economic Development Director?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just as a point of order and clarity, the Sheets Development Plan sits on its own, and then the removal of the right-hand turn lane is a separate review that's done under Article 7, Section 2D of the Charter. You'll remember this is the same review that was conducted when the mid-block crossing was contemplated in front of Lorraine Road, in front of the library. Anytime a public right-of-way gets narrowed, widened, modified, if in any case we ever have a wharf, that will have to come through Planning Commission as well. That's also in the charter, just because you never know. So we'll take that separately. So first is the sheets, and the plan in front of us today, and representatives from Sheets, Ellen and Mr. Coyne are here to answer any questions from the Sheets perspective as well. The application that was processed and given a favorable recommendation by Planning Commission proposes to demolish the vacant Rite Aid and install a brand new Sheets gas station at the corner of Stearns and Lorraine. Just to kind of think about the context of this, the staff worked with representatives from Sheets for about 7 months on the site design, and want to commend Sheets. They were very amenable to all of our comments. You'll notice first and foremost the Sheets gas station itself, the gas station canopies. Let me see if I can go one better. Okay, so the gas station canopies are in the rear, and the building itself sits up to the street front. It's unlike most gas stations you see in a suburban setting where the gas station canopies are at the street front and the building is in the back. This is done intentionally because we want the building to define the pedestrian realm and the pedestrian experience, and not the gas station canopies. And so when we had first met with Sheets, we had asked them to contemplate doing that. And as I said, they were more than receptive to all of our suggestions. They were tabled originally in December, and then came back to Planning Commission in January. And the major change is, I believe they call this a canoe, is gone. What this was where you would order for pickup, and then you would come around here and pick up at the window. Now there's no more menu boards, there's no more ordering, it's all mobile order pickup. There's you order on your app, you pick up at the drive-through window. So because they went away from that particular the menu boards and whatnot, they were able to do away with the canoe and all the stuff in and around there. So that was the major amendment from the December submission to the January submission that was approved by Planning Commission. We also asked Sheets to provide a side-by-side of the of how the traffic striping is going to be different on northbound on Stearns. You can see that this traffic striping actually gets broken up so that you're able to make the left-hand turn into the gas station now, and then it gets restriped a little bit further north of the intersection. This was reviewed by the city engineer and was deemed to be appropriate, and he has no issues with it. This is the typical Sheets. This would be facing the gas station canopy, and then the patio that we're all, if you've seen the Sheets, that we're all kind of accustomed to. What is different here is that instead of this being a big blank wall, this is the wall that actually fronts Lorraine Road. Sheets, working with our Planning Commission and city staff, put in these faux windows with some fenestrations of the building to make it look interesting to the street front. Normally what you would see here is a big blank brick wall, and you don't see that because of a lot of the input that we've had in our back and forth with the team from Sheets. And so we asked about a mural. They politely declined that. They don't do that yet. We weren't the first city to ask for a mural, though, I was told. So maybe one day. But this does enough to break up the view from the street front. We had asked about, why couldn't these be real windows where you could see in, and a lot of it has to do with how the interior space is programmed. This is your kitchens, your walk-ins, your utility closets, your electrical panels, all that sort of stuff. So it was not possible to orient it differently. And then these are some fantastic views of the Sheets property. The bottom left would be kind of where the Dunkin' sign is now. Instead of having its own pole sign with the pricers, is that a done deal now with that?
Duncan has signed off on that sign.
Okay,
so
perfect.
I figured it's
So this will be a combined sign where Dunkin' will have their sign and then their advertisements here, and then the Sheets pricers will be right next to it in one monument sign, so you don't kind of have that visual clutter of different signs at different heights. There's also additional planting, so this is as you're viewing it going southbound on Stearns Road to Lorraine. And then this is some of the aerial views. Again, you see the one tree per every 30 feet, which is the Lorraine Road corridor standard. You see a lot more green space and a lot more trees. And overall, we think this is a really impactful site design, and have really enjoyed working with the Sheets team on this particular project. A couple more things. They did receive a variance for lighting. This is their lights graphic as to where light shines off on and how far it spreads and all that sort of stuff. And so they received a variance of BZA in January. And we're more than comfortable that there's enough room between the Sheets, the Duncan, and some additional buffering that it won't disturb any of their neighbors to the north at the Forest Commons development site. So that, sir, Mr. Chairman, is my staff report on the Sheets project. And if you'd like, representatives from Sheets are here to talk about what they want to do.
Yes, thank you very much. Would you like to add any information above and beyond what the director had mentioned?
Not really. Max has done a great job through this whole process. You know, as he mentioned, we were working for quite a while on setting up the site, and we've made a lot of tweaks. A lot of work has happened since that initial plan commission meeting as well. And yeah, we're here to answer any questions you have about what you see in front of you or about Sheets operations.
Okay, great, thank you very much. This is open 24 hours, correct?
Correct.
So what type of security, what type of precautions do you take, being that it's a 24-hour operation?
Absolutely. So all Sheets stores are open 24 hours. That is how we operate. That is what our customers know about us. And that's all of our facilities. So that's that is our made-to-order food. That is our pumps. That's our dining room, typically restrooms. Everything's open and available. If we had a car wash, that would be open too, but there's no car wash on this site. Because we're open 24 hours, we can be that luxury convenience store. We can be that top notch for every community that we serve. Each site has about 40 cameras located inside and outside. All of our employees are trained on de-escalation training if there was something to happen. That could be, hey, my food wasn't ordered correctly, up to, you know, who knows what else could happen. So it starts with de-escalation with the employees. All the employees also wear badges. Those badges help them communicate with those in Altoona who watch the live feed 24/7, say, hey, I've got a problem, or can you talk to an individual in our store? And so people from Altoona can come on the speaker and say, hey, gentleman with the blue shirt, you're causing a disturbance, we need you to leave. And you know, that can usually work as well. And then the other option would be that either someone from Altoona or someone from the store could call the police if they needed to. But that would always be the last resort, and we do have a lot of options in the store and training that we go through.
Great, thank you. How many employees do you anticipate being employed there?
Yeah, so typically on staff we'll never have no less than 2. About 8 people will be working there at a time. We have a lot of different activities that the employees have to run. But for a new store, we would hire about 30 people, and that would be, half of that would be part-time and half of that would be full-time.
I do have one question about the, I know it's not a drive-through, but for lack of a better word, the drive-through. Is that an enclosed lane? Meaning, so if somebody pulls up, is there a curb that is restricting them from exiting that lane if they wanted to?
That's a good
Does that make
question.
sense how I'm saying that?
It does. So we're branding this one our mobile order pickup window. And as Max mentioned, you'll order on your phone. But no, there is no concrete divider. There is some striping, and I know Max is trying to pull it up. Where
It's that bottom left, you see that?
yes,
is that
yep.
stripe?
So that's all striping, and it's still like a 12-foot lane that's there, but it is striping because there's 2-way traffic on the other side of that. And just for some numbers, sorry about that, Tony. Just for some numbers, the reason why we have dropped down from, you know, order in a drive-through lane, and that would be, it used to be the same touch screen that you would order inside, you would order outside. Our numbers keep dropping in the drive-through. So we used to say that our peak numbers would be at lunchtime, and it would be 11 cars in the drive-through for the whole peak hour at lunchtime. That number continues to go down. So we're not a Starbucks, we're not a McDonald's, we're not pumping people through this lane. It's just an extra convenience item. So, hey, you don't have to run into the store because you ordered on your app, you can just pick up there. We also have curbside pickup, and you can go inside and pick it up, next to where they make the food too.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Any other questions from committee? Yes.
Mr. Upton, can you talk a little bit about the right turn, left turn, like just the traffic pattern, what the thought processes that went through planning on just egress from Lorraine Road and then the exit on Crocker? Just if you cover some of the things that were discussed and what the final decision was.
So I'll speak narrowly as a project, and we'll.
Yeah.
So we examined the ingress and egress. So if you look.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Upton, less on the turn lane, but more on just the coming in and coming out.
So there is two entrances, one right here, and then the other one is obviously over here on Stearns. This is an exit only lane.
It's an entrance.
I'm sorry, entrance only lane. So there's three entrances, and so when Jeff and the engineer from GPD reviewed, based upon the trip generation and kind of the access to the site, they don't see any negative effects. If you're maybe at like the Dollar General or Romeo's Pizza across the street, having to make that left to get back out on the Lorraine Road or make that up the street, they don't see any negative effects there. There's plenty of capacity in the roadway to handle the additional trips and the cross traffic patterns.
And so gas stations in general, when you submit a traffic study, you have to follow the trip generation guide. And gas stations produce about 20-25% of the trips are new trips. Everything else is just passed by traffic. So then when you figure out the number of trips based off of the square footage of the building and the number of pumps, and then you relate that to another number, I want to say maybe in the peak hour, usually it's somewhere between like 10 and 20 new cars in a peak hour that get put onto the intersection. So there's not a lot of new traffic generated. It's 75% is passed by traffic. That's people that are already traveling on this lane. So we're not big traffic generators. That's all gas stations in general when you follow the trip generation manual. And then Max kind of mentioned too, some of the things that the traffic study will look at is a turn lane warranted, like a right or left turn lane to get into the site. On Lorraine Road, that was not, but on that side-by-side image, Max, on Stearns Road, though, you can see we did warrant a left turn lane into the Duncan and Sheet shared access drive there. So we have, right now it was just really big striped island to help make space in the roadway to get the dual left turn lanes at the intersection. Do you mind if I just go up there? It's kind of hard to explain from back there. But this left turn lane was shortened just a little bit to then put in this, and now we have a left turn lane here to come in. And this is a 3/4 movement, so there's no left turn out as there is today. So this movement stays the same, the movement over here stays the same as what was there, and this one drops down to just a right in only.
Are we evaluating anything about heading northbound on Stearns, about like the right turn at the red light, like a no turn on red or anything like that to free up for people to get? My biggest concern is getting left from Lorraine. Like, how do people turn out left, right? Because they can't go left on Crocker, right? They can't take a left turn off of onto Crocker, and there's just the one exit down there to turn left.
To head eastbound on Lorraine?
To head east on Lorraine, yeah.
So it would be, sorry for the, it would be at this curb cut right here. It would be at the furthest east curb cut where you would make that left.
And that's across from,
That is essentially fairly close to where that curb cut is now.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's the exact same location as where the existing one is now.
okay. Okay.
Two questions. Is that the current right aid, is that a left and right exit lane now? Is it?
The one that we were just discussing, yes.
So the existing, when it was right aid, you could turn left out of there.
And furthest east curb cut is that configuration, ingress egress stays the same.
And then, on the, exit onto Crocker, will there be any type of, pylons or anything to prevent people from going left? Will they be forced to go right, like an island or anything?
To head northbound,
Yes.
like a pork chop, yeah, I would presume yes, that
Okay.
a pork chop would be, that's the,
I've
what
learned
you would
I've learned
see.
a new word today.
So the, if you're familiar with the Chipotle in your ward, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
that, where that divider is, they call that a pork chop. That's to stop that traffic.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions from committee? All right, council? Yes? Oh,
I'm so sorry, I have a question.
yes.
I'm looking at the signage. You had said that there was just gonna be the one sign in Dunkin' Donuts, is that correct?
So there's that shared sign, and then we're also gonna propose another, and I haven't submitted my signage yet, but we are gonna propose another sign closer to, the other entrance on Lorraine, just for sheets. And so right now, there is a Rite Aid sign there, so it'd be similar to that. So there's the shared access sign that you can see here, and we're not repurposing the sign that's there because it's too hard to get all of our cabinets in there, but essentially that's the same size, same height, same location is the one you see there, and then there would be a separate just sheet sign closer to the other entrance.
Can you go back to the other picture? So it looks like the sign is closer to Lorraine Road, is that correct? That's not where it is today, is it?
You're talking right down here?
Yes. It's back further. And
It
then
might
over
not be
here-
shown correctly on
Okay.
this one, but the intention is to have it in pretty much the exact same
Which
spot.
is more back
It
by-
might be back here a little bit more.
I think
I
it's
know
more
we
by
had-
the drive, actually.
There, so the aerial may be a little bit off in terms of where.
Yeah.
So, through the chair to Councilwoman Carr, the planning commission was interested in knowing where this might be, so they could, in their review, they look for site obstructions and how it might affect traffic going, if you're coming northbound, will you be able to see the folks coming out, like those types of things? That was part of their review. Typically, the sign package, as Ellen mentioned, comes after, because it's the last piece of the puzzle. And so when we reviewed it, it was just to make sure that it didn't obstruct view patterns and right-of-way and cause a danger to traffic, essentially. And that was what the planning commission had asked for.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a question, just a comment. I appreciate the seemingly small aesthetic touches of adding faux windows to the, was essentially the rear of the building. Because I was a sitting member of council way back when we approved knocking down the Rallies restaurant and building Get Go there. And we kind of caught some flack after the fact that the back of the building faces a prominent intersection in the city, and it's very vanilla. And so I appreciate that you've taken steps here to not repeat prior mistakes.
And then we did an additional screening on this side of the building. It's kind of hard to see, but on the elevations, we have, there are propane tanks. They have to be sold outside, but we have brick wing walls that come out the side, and then there's also a little fence, so there will be additional screening from this road too, that way it just doesn't look like propane tanks right there.
Great, thank you.
Sorry, one more question.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The landscaping on the Lorraine Road side, first of all, it looks like you're preserving as many of the large growth trees that are established trees that are on site, which I've been around long enough to know that that doesn't always happen, and usually everything kind of gets flattened. So very good to see that, because it's, you know, just a few feet down the road, you're in the metro parks. So it's kind of a nice touch by keeping that. I can't quite see what type of landscaping is then added along the Lorraine Road side?
Yes, so we had to follow Lorraine Road corridor, and there's a certain number of trees with spacing. I don't have all the
It's
exact.
one tree for every 30 feet, and then the salt-resistant ground plantings in between, much the same, similar to the Helene site. So they
Basically in the right of way?
correct.
Same concept?
And then we did repeat some of that landscaping on the Stearns Road side, even though it wasn't required.
Well, the site looks very nice.
Thank you.
And the last time, by the way, the time before, the very unfortunate gas station up here was CVS, when the back of the building went in, and we did something, I was around then, we did something similar to what you're doing there with the canopies and the windows, to try to give it a bit of a different feel, in a unique space, so I like it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just with light, that passed all the
Correct.
Metro Park issues, like it doesn't impede the Metro Park, the walls and everything cover that, so we're fine.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And then the other question I had was on, this might be harder to answer, but has the Dries project already started selling lots?
No.
Okay, so nobody has already, whatever, without knowing a Sheets is going there.
Yeah. They wanted to get started, and then the freeze happened, so they won't start selling lots until
Great.
a few months from now.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Okay. Yes.
So, you said you had like a drive-through for pickup. Will you be able to order food inside too?
Yes, absolutely. We'll still have all the touch screens inside are made to order food. We'll still be there. It's, you can order on our app, you can order in the store, but it's just, previously when we had the drive-through, and we still have drive-throughs around here, we haven't removed them from all the existing ones, but that same touch screen you would use inside is actually mounted outside. It's the speaker box is only there for emergencies.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Not a question, just a comment. I'd like to thank Sheets and your team for being persistent and coming to the city. Hasn't been easy. I think this is your first site try or whatever. And it's great, and I'm fortunate enough that it's in my ward, and it's gonna be a great addition. And I think everyone's gonna love it, so appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right. So, because that was being broken up then, do I need to make a motion for this now? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, then at this time, I would like to make a motion to favorably recommend PDC Plan 317-2025 and ask for a second. All right, seconded by Mr. Van. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. And then next on the agenda would be the right-hand turn lane on Lorraine.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, yeah, wait, yeah, there is an exhibit there. You just get to show it off a second time.
I know.
Ooh.
Hey.
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, as mentioned before, Article 7, Section 2D of the Charter, I'm not going to read it all for you verbatim, but it basically says when you're adjusting or modifying a public right-of-way, wharf, dock, bridge, tunnel, anything like that, it needs to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. Planning Commission needs to offer a recommendation to this body, and then this body will either accept the recommendation or not. This is not a budgetary decision. This is just a planning decision. The budgetary stuff comes afterwards. So this is by saying this is a good idea, that's not committing funds or saying you're going to do it or anything like that. That runs completely separate of this conversation. And so this is the exhibit that GPD, who is the engineer of record for Sheets, worked with our engineer. There was a warrant done, a warrant analysis done, which is essentially, a warrant is a fancy word to say whether or not you need 2 right-hand turn lanes at this particular intersection based upon what's there. And so the warrant analysis determined that the second right-hand turn lane was not warranted. And in fact, as you could imagine, when you have a situation where a lot of our infrastructure is overbuilt, those 2 right-hand turn lanes, essentially what they do is they encourage people to speed as they're making that turn onto Stearns, because oftentimes they're the only person doing it. And they have enough room where they could fan out, turn in, and then continue to speed down Stearns Road. What this would do from an environmental perspective, first it's in line with what we want to do on Lorraine Road. We want to create a more resilient corridor. Second, by reclaiming some of the public right-of-way, not vacating, but reclaiming it and planting it, we're creating more permeable surface that reduces stormwater runoff, and it allows our system to kind of take on more stormwater. So environmentally, it's more friendly. Second, from a raw analysis perspective, Engineer Filarski and I went back, and when engineers design roads, they have a design year that's well into the future. So this road was designed, I believe, in 2006, right around there. The design year that it was designed for was 2026. It's now, and so when they tried to design these years for 20 years into the future. They're projecting what they think the average daily traffic is going to be 20 years from now. And so when we compare the design year, this intersection was built to handle 30,740 cars a day. The last traffic count was from 2024. The actual count is 19,509 cars a day. So it's roughly 30% greater than the average daily traffic is what this is built for. And you can imagine over the long term of repaving it, plowing it, salting it, striping it, those maintenance costs go up and up and up as you continue to maintain infrastructure that's overbuilt. Now, we looked at this a second way and said, okay, well, there's not a gas station at this intersection. You know, let's compare a similar intersection in the city. So Clegg was designed for a capacity of 31,000 cars. Clegg and Lorraine, there's gas stations, I think, on 3 of the 4 corners. The actual average daily traffic is 14,512. So not the excess capacity isn't as noticeable because that intersection isn't as big. But the fact remains is that the staff's recommendation, the administration believes that this is an opportunity to kind of right-size the infrastructure, to reduce our maintenance obligations and create a greener space that is safer. It slows cars down. Narrower intersections, narrower roadways make people drive slower. And we believe that while this is under construction, it's the appropriate time to have this conversation whether or not we should have that second right-hand turn lane.
Question for Sheets in relation to this. Do you anticipate there ever being a time where vehicles could be backed up blocking your entrance and exit? Or do you think there's enough space
No,
from the intersection?
Yeah, our traffic study reviewed that, so we should be good. You know, given the busy hours, everyone might have to wait a little bit, but you know that's normal delay. What it's at right now, it's not needed, and that's what our traffic study proved. And we took into account the Sheets development as well when we put together this information.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Also, just another point of information is that, this is a great opportunity for the city to right-size that intersection as well, because it's also when ODOT is going to be coming in and repaving, a section of Lorraine Road, and it starts at this intersection, and then heads towards Canterbury. But just again, just so that council would be aware that, you know, again, that's like a 20-year project.
Right.
So the next real opportunity to do this would be 20 years from now.
Thank you. Okay, any questions from committee? Yes.
Is there just not enough room? Like, so I'm trying to understand why we have two entry points. One right before everybody needs to exit, and then the other one's further down. Why wouldn't we just make this a single exit, right and left? Was there any discussion and planning about that?
Not as it relates to the reduction of the turn lane. I think that the ingress and egress does not affect like roadway capacity of the site itself.
Okay, and then the other question was, as part of eliminating the turn lane, was there just not enough room, or was there any consideration to make to where you could go through the entrance and then that would be blocked, so the left and right turn could more easily turn out without, you know?
So are you saying the reduction in the lane relative to that east entrance? Is that what you're?
Yeah. The east entrance.
So again, what Alan said is when they examined the impact of this on their site, they didn't adversely impact the site. Yeah.
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right, any questions from council? Yes, Mr.
Thank you,
Scarl.
Mr. Chair. When I first saw this plan, I was a little skeptical about getting rid of that second turn lane, but then after going to plan meeting and hearing our engineer's report and Director Upton discuss that, and then myself personally been using that right turn lane because I have to go to Avon Lake a lot. There are people splitting those two lanes, especially in the morning, like 6:45 in the morning, splitting those two lanes and really not stopping, doing it 30, 40 miles an hour as they turn because they have so much room, they feel like they could just gun it. I believe now with just one lane, I think it's gonna be a better safety for the use and also the water runoff. I think that's gonna be huge. With some concrete. That's my opinion.
Thank you very much. I have one additional question. In some of the drawings, it looked like there may have been one, but I couldn't tell. Is there going to be a pork chop in that corner? I'm a quick study, so.
Sorry about the pork chop. It's got me.
At dinner, I have it at dinner, yeah.
Are you talking about the east corner? Only one pork chop, Mr. Chairman, on the north.
I think in the intersection.
At the intersection.
Pedestrian cross.
I can stand up if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, please.
Is there gonna be one here then?
I think there's
No, that one will remain. It's kind of like a pedestrian island. So if you cross over and then you have to wait to continue to cross,
Okay,
that
so
will
that will
remain.
be impacted.
The roadway will narrow to a one-lane route.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With Sheets and the city, is this gonna be a joint effort for the cost, or is the city gonna bear that, or we haven't determined that
It's all
yet?
TBD. Until we understand whether or not this is something we want to do. We asked the engineer to prepare a preliminary budget just to make sure we're not, building the Taj Mahal there.
Yeah.
It's about a $65,000 expenditure to narrow this roadway, and so I think that those are questions.
Will we have Sheets involved with that?
Yeah, so everything that you see on the screen, Sheets has paid our engineer to do these things. So we went over and beyond in the traffic study, we went over and beyond in our site plan. We revised our site plan, so there's also a sidewalk, and is it a 10-foot sidewalk?
Correct,
That
yep.
gets installed with the Lorraine Road improvements. That sidewalk has been located for whether or not this project goes through. It is in the appropriate spot for either scenario. We've gone through talks with your city engineer and our engineer to make sure that kind of all these small details were discussed. That way, things wouldn't happen, like if it does go through, then it's like, well, now what about all the stuff that she's just constructed? You know, we've gone through those design items already.
So, I mean, my biggest question is there a possibility that you'll be sharing in the cost of this if we go through with this?
We have already
I mean,
shared in the cost, and we will continue to be the good neighbor that we are here. We've already surveyed it to be able to help with some of the design work, but no agreements have been signed. We have to wait till all of
That's
these.
fine, I just wanted to know if it's possible.
Ideally, if you were gonna construct right in front of us, it would be constructed at the same time and maybe even by the same contractor. That would be the most ideal situation for everyone.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions? Yes.
When you're taking out the second turn lane on Stearns and going up, or on Lorraine and then going around, do you have to do any work on Stearns to make that? Like, I don't remember what it looks like exactly on that side.
Not necessarily, because most of the cartway width is northbound into the Sheets property, so like there's more green space. It's not technically Sheets, but there's more right of way that is green space, so that that turn lane that jogs in will be removed and it'll be narrowed that way, if that makes sense. So there's not much improvement. There might need to be some at the corner to kind of square it off, because the other thing that makes it less safe is these really broad angles that allow the people to bank that turn. When you start to make those angles closer to 90 degrees, it also causes you to slow down before you turn as well. So if it's anything, it'll be right at that L, so to speak.
So the
Sorry, where's my got stuff all over. It would be right here. You see this green outline?
yeah.
That would be the further, like the narrowing, right? See where that outline comes and it goes down and it just kind of narrows in the corner right there for the turning as you're heading northbound.
Okay, so the turn on Stearns would be unaffected once you get on Stearns itself?
Correct.
Okay, so we don't have to worry.
There's no reduction on the northbound lanes on Stearns that
Okay.
is corollary.
Thank you.
You have the one, it would be one, and then you would have the other lane south to north that would meet you there as well.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, and then I do need to make a motion to approve this, correct? Okay, so then, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the reduction of one right-hand turn lane at the intersection of Lorraine and Stearns under Article 7, Section 2D of the city charter, and ask for a second.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Nay.
Nay. Okay, all right, motion passes 2-1. All right. All right, thank you very much. The Building, Zoning, and Development Committee meeting ends at 8:11 p.m.